not your politically correct developments in Drums of Tophet, Volume 1, Issue 2 by Agony's Point Press. The cover uses a violet tinted image of Kurt Blohm in a 28 skull agoric threadless necklace. He was the author of Arzt im Kampf, A Physician's Struggle, and a key figure that America wanted to advise them and inform them about biological warfare. After all, he was part of the ascent to supremacy of the United States of America. We can see the saint treatment of him like the comfort of what is against the commonplace sensibilities in the psychic or auric fields, at the least. The time comes to make your position known. Among the Fimbulvetter, each winter, the survival of some can be used as grounds to change dominance. Eschatologies are being fulfilled by more than wars. Whether we are active in the process or not, one needs to accept the life and death that is possible. The recycling of society is inevitable, and we can be the warriors of our own destiny. Behind the scenes, selections are made to form a ritual by the elite. They control governments, and the operatives find themselves in spiritual depths that they are not ready for. We can embody the names and go beyond the forms of what are called gods and goddesses. Competing and secret symbols or events get distorted in the public view. Some relabel and others imbibe the social currents towards abilities that have more importance than the mundane systems and functions. The Stanford Research Institute was well known for founding research on astral travel and these phenomenon. Eckankar was a cult that centered itself in Menlo Park, California, but they had official religious doctrines of the processes. We can go beyond this in embodiment of these principles and go beyond the cultural forms. I bring up Eckankar because it was centered in the same place that the SRI was. Ingo Swann, Joseph McMonigle, and others may be looked up, as there are a couple of lists of sources included, but the point is gaining the power to penetrate into the mysterious energy fabric of your surroundings, to feed more and more efficiently. That way of bringing about communication with those of respite is the accelerationism we are after. Herein, Lucifer is equated with Satan, the boundless hater. Satan and those of choice wanted and want more than just to be ordered around. The rebellion of the fire beings versus the light beings came to include the clay beings, with the humans given responsibility over their actions. These have remained the key beings to twist from the laws of their creator. The weaving of the devil has gone in unexpected directions and is getting stronger. Satanic Front is spoken of as militant Satanism, and beyond the fame that may come, diabolism. The belief is beyond cultures, in a network of demons for Satan. Generational Satanism must go back to medieval times, and those who denied the ecclesiastical authority to decide morality. a dark ethic was formed, and satanic panics only opened the possibility to serve Satan openly and powerfully. Some groups must have more power over society than others. Supremacy of one nation and such are worked with. The lead representatives of satanic governments have allowed and promoted a mindset to direct and otherwise operate the geopolitical forces of eschatology. I would respectfully disagree with Satana Manifest about the threat assessment in the terms addressed. But if one regards it is how harsh the reaction might be and the potential of stirring it, Iran may be the biggest threat to the West. I agree with him totally that it is probably the internalizing movements that should be dealt with most immediately. Everyone must put some group first. A global government remains a key satanic goal. Some are strengthening in mind and body towards taking over when the wars that undermine true service of God have their results. Ritual and survival items are amassed. Physical and sexual modes are used for empowering and being clandestine. The lifestyle continues. The program and direction of the rituals. The forces await the fulfillment of these preparations. Without all the Christian trappings of the grimoires, chants, symbols, offerings, and our blood informs the connection to the infernal hierarchy. Then is the 5-part, 23 verse, those of the red scorpion. I looked up to see what it might be in reference to, aside from a movie, game, or old book I don't recall coming across. And only suspect some possible astrological or mystery school reference. It comes off much like a Class A Liber in Thelema. It comes off as Gnostic stagnation, an alchemical reference to the devil, tantric becoming of the practitioner, Sufi emotional work, and an non-organized movement of becoming vehicles for the distinctive fulfillment in the end times. The second death is better explained in the final writing in Volume 1, Issue 2. As little as is relatively expressed about vampirism. Some can't be available for the commoners to find. Those who are spiritually dead are not identifying as humans, except as a role or mode. It doesn't have to take from our lives to be vampiric, but it will transform the sense of a strengthening life. What we do with our transformation and that of proteges remains up to us. It is where life is lived, like the transference zone to the afterlife and of entities that most would rather treat as non-existent. Those that live as vehicles of their will in the satanic web. From the current of the cemetery, translate and take charge into the unknown. And the red scorpion, it connects to the number 309. And I guess I could give some meaning for that, right? But we also more formally close with the picture of Sword of Undeath in the cemetery. You know, the book. And the ad ends with the rune for homeland. Okay, 309. Obviously we have an appropriate biblical verse that starts with and. Now I know and's not the subject, but shut is scourge. And the number value of that is 309. And as some people say, oh, they misspell the word Satan in the Bible. They really mean ha Satan. And it's like, no, they don't. They put ha Shatan there intentionally, because the continual scourge.